In cooperative society, the principle followed is one share, one vote, one man, one vote, no vote, multiple vote. The answer is one man, one vote. They are the part of the profits which are not distributed as dividend. It will be kept in the company, so that we call it as retained earnings. The minors can also become the members of a joint Hindu family. So they are also the co-partners to the business. Hello everyone, I am Purnima, faculty in the Department of Commerce and Management, Vidhyaashram, Pre-University College, Temple of Excellence, Mysuru. I welcome you all to this session. In this session on Model Question Paper 23-24, I will be giving you discussion on the Model Question Paper which has been released by the PU Board. First, let us see what the session holds for us. So, this is the first year pre-university Model Question Paper. The maximum marks is 80. And the time limit is 3 hours 15 minutes. So they have given the instructions to the candidates here. The question paper consists of 4 parts, part A, B, C and D. Then part A consists of again 4 parts, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the students are instructed to write the serial number of the questions correctly and write the correct and complete answer. So these are the instructions given to the students. Let us have a look at the question paper here. So in part A, we have the MCQs. So MCQs will be 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So there are 5 MCQs here in part 1. In part 2, we have filled in the blanks, but please make a note here. So the answers will be given here right below the question itself. You have to choose any one of the answers from the question. Then match the following, we have 5 marks. And then in part 4, again we have 1 word or 1 sentence answers. This is for 5 marks. So there will be no choice in part A. So all the questions are compulsory. You have to just attend all the questions. So no choice. And in part B, it is a 2-mark question. Out of this, there will be 10 questions are given here. So out of these 10 questions, you will have to answer any 6 of the following. So this is for 2 marks. Then next will be the 4-mark question. Again, you will be given 10 questions. Out of this, any 6 you will have to answer. So any 6 of the 10 questions. Then part D, again you will be having 8 marks questions. So there will be 5 questions. Out of this, you have to answer any 3 of the questions. Now, let us see the first question. Choose the correct answer. So these are MCQs. There will be 5 MCQs. So no choice in the MCQ. So the first question is, which of the following does not characterize the business activity? So options are production of goods and services. Option B, presence of risk, sale and exchange of goods, and salary or wages. So the option is answer 4, that is salary and wages, because in business we don't give any salary or give wages. In business the returns is the profit. So this is the right answer, salary or wages. Then in the second question, in cooperative society the principle followed is one share, one vote, one man, one vote, no vote, multiple vote. The answer is one man, one vote. No matter one person, even though he holds all the shares, so he will be getting only one vote in case of a cooperative society. Then third one, PSCs are organizations owned by joint Hindu family, government, foreign companies, private enterprises. The answer is the government. Now, what is the full form of PSEs? PSEs are public sector enterprises. So, those enterprises which are owned by the public sector enterprises. Next one, a self-service terminal that provides the customers with facilities of withdrawing and depositing cash, fund transfer, obtaining account statement and closing balance, etc. but through a unique and secured PIN is called EFT, ATM, EDI, POS. The answer is C, EDI. Then fifth one, the maturity period of a commercial paper usually ranges from 20 to 40 days, 60 to 90 days, 120 to 365 days and 90 days to 364 days. So the answer is between 3 months to 1 year. So this is the answer. Next. So fill in the blanks. Buying and selling of goods is called as dash. So the answer is trade. It is called as trade. Then reconstruction of sick public unit is taken up by the BIFR, Board of Industrial and Financial Reconstruction. The important document of a joint stock company is the Memorandum of Association. The industries set up in village areas are called the cottage industry. Then the trade that takes place within the boundaries of a country is called internal trade. Next, match the following. Joint stock company. Joint stock company is a separate legal entity. Then we have business services. So in this we have the transportation. B2B means business to business. The type of itinerant retailer is the cheap jack. Mode of entry into international business is export and import. Next, answer in one word or sentence. State one element of business ethics. So this is the top management commitment. So they need to have commitment towards business ethics. So give the meaning of public deposits. They are one mode of raising finance from the public in the form of deposits. Expand NABARD, National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development. Then what are mail order? Mail order houses are retail outlets that sell the merchandise through mail, which receive orders and supply goods through the post office. So they get orders through the post and send the goods through the post. So Tejas wants to start export business, but what are the formalities related to exporting? Suggest Tejas any one middleman who helps him in the export business. So this is the C&F agents. So the carrying and forwarding agent. So they are the middlemen. Then, so there are the 2-mark questions here. What is business risk? Business risk is the possibility of loss arising from uncertainty. It is the loss which the business experiences because of the uncertainty of the environment. Next, define partnership. It is the relationship between persons who have agreed to share the profits of the business carried on by all of them or any of them acting for all. So, partnership is a relationship existing between the partners who have agreed to share the profits of a business. So, they have all invested money in the business and they are ready to share the profits of the business run by all of them or any of them acting for all. Then, any two features of multinational companies, huge capital resources. So, they can raise funds from all the sources, from equity shares, debentures, then they can have borrowings from banks, then government also will help them, government funding, so etc. They have huge capital resources. Second one is foreign collaboration. They can enter into an agreement with a foreign country's business firm, as a result of which they can have foreign collaboration, that is in the form of exchange of technology. Then list the steps involved in online trading. So first one is the registration. So we have to get registration done with the online trading platform. Then we can browse through the website and we can select what are the goods we need. After that, we can place the order. And the third one is the payment mechanism. What is the mode of way we are making the payment? Whether it is cash on delivery or whether it is the debit card or whether it is the credit card or whether it is the net banking or mobile banking, etc. So, they are the different modes of payment in case of a online transaction. Then, next, two responsibilities of businessmen towards the customers. The first one is providing quality goods at reasonable prices. So, you should see that you give value for money. Then provide sufficient and proper information about the product. So you have to provide proper information about the product. Then what is prospectus? Prospectus is an invitation to the public to apply for shares and debentures of the company. Then next question, write any two advantages of the retained earnings. So there will be no charge on the assets of the company. Now what are retained earnings? It is a part of the profit which is retained by the company. So part of profits which are retained in the company. So they are called as retained earnings. So they are the part of the profits which are not distributed as dividend. It will be kept in the company, so that we call it as retained earnings. So you need not pay any interest on the funds which are retained earnings. Then 24th question, state any two factors which affect the choice of the source of business. So first one is the cost, and next one is the financial strength and stability of operations. Now what do we mean by cost of finance? Cost of finance is the interest which you are supposed to pay on the borrowed funds. So if you are borrowing 10 lakhs at 10%, then every month you will have to pay an interest of 1 lakh. So that is the cost of the borrowed funds. Then second one is financial strength and stability of operations. What is the strength of the business? So whether the business has regular income, whether there is regular revenue to the business, and also the stability of operation. So how it is able to stand the operations, that is, if the business is making profits regularly, then we say that the business has been stable. Then what is entrepreneurship? It is the process of setting up one's own business. So if I have to start a business, I will have to make an investment of capital. I have to make arrangements for organizing the men, machine, materials and money. Then I have to do the staffing. Then I have to see the directing, everything. So whatever I need for the business, so whatever is the process I am making use of, that I call it as entrepreneurship. Then mention any two products which can be sold through AVM. So what is the full form of AVM? So AVM is automated vending machine. So we can sell those products through this automated vending machine. So first one is the chocolates we can sell. Then we can also sell newspapers through these vending machines. Then next one, these are the 4-mark questions. So Amar, his parents, grandparents and siblings are living together. They have a family business in West Bengal. Identify the form of business organization referred here. So his parents, grandparents and siblings, they are all living together. They are having a family business. So the answer is Hindu undivided family. So they have a running family business. Then states it's any three features of a joint Hindu undivided family. First one is the liability is limited. Whose liability is limited? The co-parsoner's liability is limited, whereas the Karta's liability is unlimited. Karta's liability is unlimited. The control, entire family business control lies with the Karta. The minors can also become the members of a joint Hindu family. So they are also the co-parsoners to the business. Now let us go to the next question. Briefly explain the 4 advantages of departmental undertaking. Now what are the advantages of departmental undertaking? First one is they facilitate the parliament to exercise control over their operations. So it facilitates the parliament to exercise control over the operations. They ensure a high degree of public accountability. It is a source of income for the government. Where national security is concerned, this form is more suitable since it is under the direct control and supervision of the concerned ministry. So these are the 4 advantages of the departmental undertakings. Next question. 4 functions of warehousing. This is out of syllabus because the warehousing has been deleted from the syllabus. Next, Explain briefly the 4 limitations of e-business. So in e-business, we don't have any personal touch because all the information, all the communication will be sent through the mails only. So there will be no personal touch here. So incongruence between the speed of the order and order fulfillment speed. So we will be just giving the order in full speed, but physical delivery of the goods takes lot of time. Then need for technology capability and competence of parties to e-business. So both the parties, whether it is the seller or the buyer, they need competence in technology. So if they don't know how to use technology, they cannot do e-business. Then increased risk due to anonymity and non-traceability of the parties. So there is a lot of risk involved in e-business because there may be the seller who is non-traceable and there may be the buyers also who are non-traceable. They may be lost because the buyer would have made payment to the seller and the seller is untraceable, or it may be the other way also. The buyer would have placed the order and he is untraceable. So when the delivery boy goes to deliver the goods, he becomes untraceable. So there will be unnecessary expenditure to the seller. Next, explain briefly 4 arguments for social responsibilities of business. First one is justification for existence and growth. So every business has to justify itself for its existence and growth. So it depends on the society for its growth and existence. So that is why it is the duty of every business to have social responsibility. Then second one is long-term interest of the firm. So if the firm has to survive in the society, it has to get cooperation from the society. So if the firm engages in the social responsibility activities, it will create a favorable image of the firm, as a result of which there will be public will support these organizations. Then avoidance of government regulation. Some firms, in order to avoid government regulations, they themselves come forward and be socially responsible. Then maintenance of the society. So if the society is at peace, the business also will be at peace. So in order to maintain the society, it becomes the responsibility of every business to have social responsibility. Then Mr. Gopal conceived an idea to start a garments business. He consulted a company secretary, helped list down Mr. Gopal's functions in the process of starting up the business. Now Mr. Gopal, he wants to become a promoter of the company. So a joint stock company, whoever is promoting or starting a joint stock company, we call them as the promoters. Now what are the functions of the promoter here? First one is identification of business opportunity. You have to identify what is the business opportunity. Second one is feasibility studies. So whether the business opportunity is feasible. So whether it is profitable, whether we have the technical feasibility, whether we have the economic feasibility, all this has to be studied in feasibility studies. Then the next one will be the name approval. He has to suggest a name for the business and get it approved by the registrar of companies, fixing up signatories to the memorandum of association. So if you have to start a company, you have to get some few important documents. So one of the main document is the memorandum of association. So you have to fix up the signatories for memorandum of association. Then E is appointment of professionals. Now, who are the professionals here? So, you need professionals for almost all the posts here. So, you have to appoint professionals for starting up any joint stock company. Then, next one, write a note on equity shares. So, what is the meaning of equity shares? They are the most important source of long-term finance for a company. So, for any company which need long-term finance, the equity share is the best option. They represent the ownership of a company. The capital raised by the issue of shares is known as the ownership capital or the owner's funds. So equity shares cannot be redeemed within the lifetime of the company. Now what do we mean by redeeming? Buyback. So buyback means redeeming. They cannot be redeemed within the lifetime of the company. Then the next option, which is the important source of debt finance that a company uses to raise long-term finance, states the merits of it. So the debt source of finance, we have debentures, loans from banks, loans from financial institutions, public deposits, lease financing, commercial papers. So these are the various sources of debts. Now what are the merits here? First one, in case of debentures, you will be paying a fixed interest. Fixed rate of interest is paid on the debentures. Then second one is there will be no charge on the assets of the company. No charge on the assets of the company. Third one is control is not diluted. In case of debentures, so the control will be with the owners itself, so there will be no dilution of control. So these are the merits of the debentures. So you have different merits for each of them. So you can explain any three merits of any one of the sources of finance. Then briefly explain the four problems faced by small business. The first one is the problem of finance. Now, these small businesses, they will be started by the people who are residing in the rural areas. So whatever small savings they have, out of that only they will have to run the business. So they will set up the business out of their small savings or borrowings from friends itself. And they will not be in a position to borrow from the banks because they will not have much collateral security to provide to the banks. So as a result of which, they will have to borrow from the money lenders of the village, who will be charging a heavy rate of interest. So that is why we say that these small businesses, they have a finance problem. Then second one is the raw materials. So these small businesses, they depend on the raw materials which are available locally. So if the raw materials are there in abundance, then there will not be a problem for the business. But if there is a sudden scarcity of the raw materials, then these businesses will suffer because they cannot go out and buy raw materials from other countries, or they will not have the capital to buy extra raw materials and stock it. So they will be having the problem of raw materials. Then third one is lack of managerial skills. So these businesses, people who are running these business, they don't have managerial skills because their education will be limited. As a result of which, they will not have any plans for growth or expansion of the business. Then fourth one is the problem of labor. So the family members, whoever are there, they will be helping in the family business, and as such they cannot hire professionals for their post because they will be not in a position to pay high salaries to these people. Then explain in brief the four benefits of international business to the nations. First one is earning of foreign exchange. International business helps a country to earn foreign exchange, which it can later use for meeting its import of capital goods, technology, petroleum products, and so on. So when we are having this international business, so if we are exporting something, so whatever foreign exchange we can get from that, that can be made use of for the paying of the imports. Then more efficient use of resources. International business enables a country to produce more efficiently what it can produce and helps it to export the surplus production to the other countries. So the surplus production, whatever they are having, it can be exported to the other countries, improving the growth prospects and employment potentials. So it enables countries to produce on a larger scale and thus helps them not only in improving their growth prospects, but also creates opportunities for employment of people living in these countries. So it improves the growth prospects and employment potential. Fourth one is increased standard of living. International business enables a country to import the required goods from the other countries and helps the people of the country to enjoy a higher standard of living by consuming those important products. So these are the benefits of international business. Then next one is the different types of industries. So these are the 8-mark questions. So you will have to explain in detail. Almost you have to write 1 page or 1.5 page of the answer here. So the different types of industries, they are mainly classified into primary, secondary and tertiary. Now in the primary industry, again we have the extractive and the genetic industry. So in the extractive industry, we have mining, we have agriculture, etc. So these are the extractive industries. So whatever we extract from the earth, so they are considered as the extractive industry. Then we have the genetic industry. It relates to animal breeding, poultry farming, etc. So you just see that you have a very big poultry where you are rearing chickens, or you can have a very big farm where you are raising goats, sheep, etc. Then the secondary industry. So this secondary industry, it depends on the raw material of the primary industry. Now in the secondary industry, we have 2 types. One is the manufacturing. The second one is the construction industry. So in the manufacturing industry, we have the assembling industry. So where you assemble various parts of the product into a final product. Second one is the analytical. So in the analytical industry, you just extract crude oil from the earth, and from the crude oil you are refining into various products like petrol, diesel, kerosene, LPG, etc. Then we have the synthetic industry. So where 2 or more compounds come together and form a new product, for example the cement industry. And then we have the processing industry. So where the process, for example, the sugar cane undergoes a process and it gets converted into sugar, and then whatever the residual we are getting from the process of sugar, that gets converted into paper. Then we have the construction industry. So the construction of ships, bridges, etc. All these come under the construction industry. Then Coca-Cola was produced by Dr. Johann S. Pemberton, a local pharmacist in Atlanta, Georgia in 1986. He get the syrup sampled and introduced in the market. By reading this information, what do you think the form of business Coca-Cola initially had? Also explain any 4 merits and limitations of this firm. So this Coca-Cola business was initially a sole trading concern. So it is a sole proprietorship. Now let us understand what are the merits and demerits of the sole proprietorship. First one is ease of formation and closure. So such a company is easy to form and easy to close. Second one is quick decision making. So we can take quick decisions. Third one is profit is the direct incentive for hard work. So in case of a sole trader, if he works hard, he will get a reward in the form of profits. Then confidentiality of information. So business secrets can be maintained here. The sense of accomplishment. So he has a sense of accomplishment because the profit will be the reward for the hard work he has done to bring up his business. Now, what are the demerits of such a kind of a business? First one is the limited resources. So, in case of a sole trading concern, he will have only his savings or borrowings from friends as the capital. So, he cannot have more capital in a sole trading concern. Limited managerial ability. So whatever managerial skills which is inborn in him, only that he can display while doing his business. So he cannot engage the services of a professional to run his business. Third one is unlimited liability. So what is unlimited liability? So if the business runs into a loss and if there are a lot of loans which the business has to pay, then the private assets of the owner will be attached to recover the due from the business. Then limited life of the business concern. So there is lack of continuity in such a kind of a business because the business comes to an end with the death, lunacy or insolvency of the owner of the business. Then Next question, explain the principles of insurance. We have the various principles of insurance here. One is the principle of utmost good faith. So in this principle, it says that both the insurer and insured both should act in good faith. So they should not hide any of the facts when they are undertaking the insurance policy. So the principle of utmost good faith says that each one should trust each other when they are entering into agreement with the insurance company. Then principle of insurable interest. So this principle says that the person who is getting the property, he should suffer some loss if there is any damage to his property. So only if he is suffering the loss, then we can call it as an insurable interest. Then next one is principle of contribution. So in this principle of contribution, if we can say that if any property, if it has been insured by 2 or 3 insurance companies, and if there is any damage to that property, then all the 3 insurance companies will be compensating with him through the insured person in the combination of the insurance policy for which it has been undertaken. So they each one will not pay the entire amount, they will pay in the ratio of the agreed amount. Then principle of indemnity. So this principle says that the insurance company will compensate for any loss caused to the insured person. Then principle of subrogation. So this principle says that in case of damage to any vehicle, if the insurance company is replacing the vehicle to the insured person, then the old vehicle which has been damaged, it will automatically be transferred to the insurance company. Then principle of causa proxima. So this principle says that the insurance company will compensate to the insured only if the cause is mentioned in the insurance policy. For example, if the person has taken a fire insurance policy and if there is any theft in that particular business firm, then the insurance company will not compensate for such a loss. So it will compensate only if there is a fire in that particular firm. So if the person has to get protection against burglary, then he has to take again an insurance on burglary, that is burglary insurance and fire insurance. Next, what is the wholesale trade? Explain the services of wholesalers to manufacturers. It is a trader who buys goods in large quantities from manufacturers and sells them in small quantities to retailers. So what are the services of wholesalers to the manufacturers? Facilitating large-scale production and storage. So they can facilitate large-scale production. They can also help in storage of goods. They will bear the risk of the reduction in the value of goods. They will also provide financial assistance to the manufacturers by giving them advance. They'll also give expert advice to the manufacturers regarding what type of goods they should produce. They will also help in the marketing function of the goods. They will help in advertising of the goods. They facilitate production continuity. So they will see that the wholesalers will keep on giving orders to the manufacturers. In this way, they will facilitate production continuity. With this, we come to the end of this session. Hope you have all followed the answers to this model question paper. Thank you.